been getting a lot of voices, specifically from the opposition, who have used this allegation of Jack Dorsey's to attack the centre. Listen in.
There are two parts to this. The first is the Congress party's U-turn from a party that always claimed to be the ones who moved out the foreigners and the British from India, to one who now desperately needs help of foreigners, including the British and the Europeans and the Americans, as per Rahul Gandhi ji, to interfere in Indian democracy. So therefore, this is the new Congress, which is looking at these kind of involvements, interferences into India. The second is the comment of Jack Dorsey, which is, and Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji, who's the minister, has come on record. So Mr. Dorsey's statement is a bundle of lies. It's a bundle of untruths. It's an agenda. It is not a statement of fact. It also reflects a trend that a set of people who claim to be the great warriors of freedom of speech, the great warriors for freedom and democratic values, are the ones who come up with the most dubious claims. So one wonders whether they are actually politicians in disguise or they are paid lobbyists.
देखिए, इसमें क्लियर साफ दिख रहा है, इस पे कोई डाउट नहीं है। ये लोग ने पत्रकार के साथ भी किस तरीके से जो किसान आंदोलन चल रहा था, कितने पत्रकारों को दबाने का कोशिश किया, ये पूरा दुनिया जानता है। जो एक सीईओ है ट्विटर का, उनको खेल रहा है, झूठ बोल रहा है करके, मेरे को पता नहीं ये लोग कब सच बोलने को स्टार्ट किया करके। कि उस समय में भी आपको पता है उनके ऑफिस रेड हुआ था, किस तरीके के कोई दिल्ली पुलिस पहुंचे, तमाम पुलिस वहां पहुंचे थे, किस तरीके के उनको भी किस लेवल पे दबाया गया था, वो सारी जानता है। जो राजीव चंद्रशेखर कब से सच बोलने लगा, मेरे को ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। तो ये लोग हमेशा झूठी बोला है। इस देश में कोई भी आवाज उठाता है, किसान हो, इस देश का युवा हो, छात्र हो, बेरोजगारी युवा हो, किसान हो, महिला हो, उसका आवाज को दबाने के अलावा इनके पास और कुछ नहीं है।
My colleague Rahul Gautam continues to be live with us. The centre, though, Rahul, despite those allegations that we heard from Jack Dorsey earlier, which is now being reiterated by the Congress, you heard from B.V. Srinivas over there as well. The centre is dismissing these allegations, saying that there was misinformation, some even claiming there was a genocide-like situation during the farmer stir of 2021, because of which the government had to clamp down. Otherwise, there would have been some sort of, a sensitive situation could have been created. It was basically obligated to take down misinformation, is what the government is saying.
Absolutely, Paulomi, and these are the arguments that are floating in and coming in, on behalf of government, that there were a lot of misinformation that was prevailing on Twitter at that point of time when farmers' protest was, underway, and at that point of time there was some Twitter handlers who were in fact inciting violence at that point of time, giving genocidal calls, and therefore the government had no other option but to act, and it simply suggests Twitter that these accounts should be withheld, given the fact that these accounts were trying to incite violence, and they were in fact trying to create rift in the society. A lot of misinformation, fake news were floating, on these accounts, and in no way it manifested, as it is claimed by Jack Dorsey, that we will shut down Twitter. So obviously the government has its own, own argument, saying that not a single person was sent to jail. Twitter was not shut down, and in fact, the Twitter was only asked to comply with the, already laid guidelines and laws, and nothing else. So obviously the government has already rubbished all these allegations. However, opposition seems to have got an apt opportunity to hit back at government. They are saying that this only shows that how dissent is being killed, how opponents are being silenced, in this regime. And what Jack Dorsey had said, he only endorsed the claims that were made earlier by Congress party. Certainly this is going to be a major flashpoint in the upcoming monsoon session also, as told by senior Congress leaders to us.
Okay, so that is of course what the centre is saying. Also very targetedly what the centre has said, and this is specific to what Rajiv Chandrasekhar has tweeted and he's spoken about later as well. Rahul, he says that Twitter under Dorsey was not just violating Indian law, but was partisan in how it was using de-amplify and de-platforming of some arbitrarily in violation of Articles 14 and 19 of our Constitution, and also assisting in weaponizing of misinformation. So the allegation against, in fact, Jack Dorsey and Twitter by the centre is, at the time that Jack Dorsey was a CEO and, the social media platform was being used at that point of time, there was a certain section of voices which was amplified and a certain section of voices which were de-amplified and de-platformed, is what the centre is saying. Let's listen in to Priyanka Chaturvedi, Member of Parliament.
It is exactly what his defense was yesterday when there was a data leak reported about through the COVID app, where people's private data was being shared through a Telegram bot. He totally denied that breach. This goes on to show that this government will continue to be in denial till the time it goes against the narrative. What Jack Dorsey has said is just something that the nation has witnessed. The farmers were called anti-nationals. The farmers were called terrorists. The bill was passed without hearing the opposition voices. The opposition MPs, when they were protesting inside the parliament, were suspended. Their voices were silenced. We've seen how an entire propaganda was unleashed on social media platforms, how social media has been weaponized by the Bharatiya Janata Party to set up their own hate narrative. Why was this government silent when the bully by collegials happened? Again on these platforms? Wasn't it against the compliance of laws? Why did they take no action? Unfortunately, while I have been at the forefront of coming up with guidelines and making these social media platforms accountable, it's unfortunate that the policy that was drafted is put in favor of the government of the day.
See, this is quite childish on part of the BJP. Jack Dorsey was heading a global corporation which is also operating in India. He was talking about his experience of operating his company in India. And it is very clear, and it only confirms our suspicions, and it's what we've been always saying, that this government is very, very intolerant to voices of dissent. They always want to shut down any opinion which is different from theirs. And Jack Dorsey was only alluding to that. And Jack Dorsey did not give some exclusive interview about India. He was talking about his experiences globally. He alluded to Turkey. He alluded to Russia. So, he put India in the same basket. So, I mean, the minute if another overseas citizen or a national says that India's economy is growing, or this Prime Minister is a great man, the BJP will immediately lap it up. But if somebody criticizes the way this government is functioning, they will immediately be labeled as an agent. I mean, this is quite childish on part of the BJP, and this is their normal tactic.